It's time for another Scrawlrbox. Let's get to it. Hello guys, so this week's video is going to be another Scrawlrbox video. This one is going to be the September 2019 box. I've heard a couple of rumors about it. I've tried not to be spoiled about it, but it's actually really difficult for me to be not spoiled anymore because I follow the Scrawlrchallenge and Scrawlrbox on Instagram, so it's kind of hard. Ooh. Okay, so the main spoiler that I had was the artist. I knew straight away who this artist was. I think everybody should know who this artist is, especially if you're in the YouTube artist community. You'll know. So let's actually get out this piece first. It's of all these little ants, and just before even turning the card, I knew it was Casey Golden. Oh, this is so cool. The fact that she has a box is really cool, and it wouldn't surprise me if Drawing with Waffles was to get a box as well in the future. I don't know if that is going to be a thing, but it would not surprise me. So editing Zoe here, I just want to say that the footage that you're seeing for the unboxing was actually filmed midway through September. I usually film it around the time that I get the boxes, so I'm not left waiting to find out what's inside. But this also means that I kind of spoiled the artist of the next box. Whoops, I didn't mean to, but hey, I called it! But this is so cute with all the little paint blobs and stuff. Oh, I can already tell it's watercolor, and for somebody who loves watercolor as much as I do, just that is exciting. But I'm actually wondering what type of watercolor it's gonna be. Just so I don't get confused, I've kind of like mixed the screen around a bit. So we have 2 sheets of watercolor paper. Now this is important because I actually got an email from Scrawlrbox saying that they had a mix-up with how many sheets of paper there was supposed to be in the Scrawlrbox. Technically speaking, there was only supposed to be 1, but the email said that because of the mix-up, everybody got 2 sheets of paper this time around. Let's get into this. Okay. Straight away we've opened up on this. Oh, I can see the big ticket item already, and I have a funny feeling I know what it is. I'm very excited. Oh my god, there's even like a little copy of the artwork to paint. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, it's also a little postcard. This is adorable. So I'm gonna take this away just so we don't spoil it. We have a Jolly Rancher in green apple. I love apple flavored sweets, so this is gonna be great. Okay, so I'm just gonna go for the big ticket item first. I'm very excited about this. The Viviva color sheets. I have been wanting to try these out, but I have so many watercolors of my own that I've been like, oh, can I justify buying these? So the fact that they're in the Scrawlrbox is actually really fun. I actually really like this. I'm really hoping that they're as good as some of the other YouTube artists say. Also, Scrawlrbox has a history of just adding to my watercolor collection, which is great. I'm not gonna stop them. So let's actually open these. Now obviously because they're like this, I don't have like the wooden case to carry them in, and that's kind of a shame, but at the same time I can understand why. It adds less weight to the Scrawlrbox and makes postage and packaging cheaper, which is fine. Ooh, this is fun. But they still have the belongs to at the top. Oh my god. Oh, this is so exciting. I cannot wait for this. This is awesome. It still has the palette, like the little travel watercolor palette. I'm actually still very skeptical about the travel aspect of these because I have a funny feeling that they could actually like spill out of the pages, but I am gonna hold off my judgment until I use these. So let's actually see what else we've got. Oh wait, was this actually supposed to be attached? Yeah, this came off if it was supposed to be attached. So then we have the Pentel Orenz 0.5 mechanical pencil, I assume? Okay. I'm wondering what kind of lead is in here, whether it's like a B lead or a HB lead. Then we have the Winsor & Newton pigment liner in 0.8. Oh no. So we have a really, really thick liner. I'm not against 0.8, but it's really thick for me. And I can tell that this piece of artwork was definitely done with a size 0.5 or less. So it's a little bit disappointing that I got a 0.8. Lastly, in terms of supplies, we have the Milan 4 brush. Now, I love a good brush in a size 4. Size 4 is like probably one of the best sizes of brush. It's a great middle ground and a great starting size for anybody wanting to get into watercolor painting. It's not too big and it's not too small. I've just noticed my hand looks as if I've been eating Wotsits or like cheese puffs. I haven't. Is this the Viviva color sheets? Because they were clean before. What's going on? I'm very, very confused. I haven't even put water on them yet and they're already transferring if this is the Viviva color sheets. Just, that's crazy. But yeah, the sticker looks like this. It's like a watercolor effect, which is really, really cool. So finally, let's actually look at the card. So the paper is actually Bockingford watercolor paper. I don't think I've used this one. Even though it says it's beautiful English watercolor paper, I've never used it. So that's cool. And the theme for this month is very fitting, feeling buggy. So I think the first thing I'll do is swatch out the watercolors, so let's get started. So first of all, I started swatching these lovely colors. Now, I'm gonna say, admit that this is not the first time I've swatched them because I lost the footage the first time round. So I thought, why not? Let's swatch them again. And also I wanted to test out their transparency. So I actually wrote down all of the names first and then did all of the colours on top of their names just to see if there was any colours that kind of stood out as being less transparent, because Viviva claim that they're really, really transparent and vivid colours, which they are, they're beautiful. So starting off this piece, I decided to take it incredibly slowly because just by doing the swatches, I kind of found this paint was very, very easy to activate. Now this is an advantage, but it can also be a disadvantage. And the disadvantages come when you're trying to layer it, because trying to layer it is difficult without ripping up the layer that you've literally just painted down. I did this so many times. I think part of it was because I was being impatient, but another part of it was probably the watercolors. I did first think that it was the paper that was the issue, but no, it was the watercolors themselves. Now, they have a really, really good point that they actually mix so well together. The mixes that they can create are freaking stunning. I loved the skin tone that I mixed up and managed to create with the Viviva watercolors. However, because they mix really well together and they also reactivate very well, even when a layer is dry, you can put a wet colour next to it and you can probably guarantee about 9 times out of 10 that that colour that is dry will blend into the colour that you've just put down. And the amount of times I dealt with this, oh no. Now, you'd be correct in thinking that I have a very mixed opinion on these watercolors. Now, is it bad? No, absolutely not. It's actually more towards the positive side, but that's more so based on performance. For practicality though, I don't really feel like these watercolors are practical. They're almost like a gimmick almost. I don't want to call them gimmicky because they're actually really cool, but this gimmick of them being more travel friendly because they're watercolor sheets, it doesn't really work out for me because I would actually be concerned about any watercolor leaking out, especially because I don't have the wooden case that apparently you can buy it with. I know other art YouTubers have like reviewed the Viviva watercolor sheets and they've actually got a wooden case for it to keep it all inside, but obviously because I got it in a Scrawlrbox, I don't have that. With these colours being so vivid, they will stain, so if they get in my bag is done for. And as I'm recording this commentary, I have magenta stained on some of my fingers. Another thing that's incredibly impractical is constantly having to flip through the pages to find the right colour you need. Something else that I found out while using them was that the pages don't lay flat, and this is an issue when trying to get the colours out. Now you can probably tell at this point that this is Miraculous Ladybug fan art because the theme was feeling buggy. Originally I was actually going to do something with my original characters, but I wasn't really in the mood to do it because I'm doing Inktober and I'm doing my OCs every single day of October for that challenge, so I kind of wanted to actually do something different, so I chose fan art. Another reason why I decided to do fan art instead of my own characters is because I wanted to take my mind off of things. My mental health this past week has been absolutely awful. It has disrupted so many things in my life. Inktober, I am behind on, and I've never been this behind on Inktober this early in the game. I started to fall behind last Sunday, which was day 13, because my light pad decided to give up on life. And then the following day, my mental health decided to give up on life because I had a panic attack on the 14th, and then my whole week went down the drain by dealing with the aftermath of the worst ever panic attack I've ever experienced in my life. So that was how my week went. It wasn't great. Because to give you some insight, this week's video was actually supposed to be the Instagram Designs My OC episode 5. And now I know a lot of people have been waiting for that, but because this week went down the drain, it just has not happened. I'm not entirely sure whether it would be up next weekend, but I am hoping for next weekend to be the actual date it goes up. So if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that the process of this piece is definitely a little different than it has been normally. Usually I would line work the picture first and then paint on top of it. However, this time I did it the other way around, so I line worked afterwards. And both methods are good, it's just it can create a different effect. Thinking about it now, it would actually make a really interesting video comparing the two techniques, line work first or watercolor first. What's the difference? The only problem with that, for me personally, is that I've got so many other videos planned for the rest of this year that I don't even know if I'll get the chance to do it. There's only so many weeks in a year and I only have so much time on my hands. But if that is a type of video that you would want to see in the future, please comment down below saying that you want it. I'd really love an idea of how many people would like to see that video, even if it could be a long way off. It is at this point in the video where you actually see all of my layering going down the drain in terms of this picture because the watercolors just like reactivating and lifting up whatever I've done underneath. In the beginning, it was so much fun. I really enjoyed these watercolor sheets. However, going towards the end, it became way more tedious because of the colors blending together on the paper. You have two separate colors side by side, and even if you are really, really careful, they can actually blend together and just bleed into each other, which can become really frustrating very quickly. To the point where I even used my heat tool to actually try and get the colours as dry as possible before adding the next colour. Even then, it still bled. But as I said before in the beginning, this could be an advantage for your style, especially if you're looking for watercolours that definitely spread really easily. These would be perfect for that. And just touching on the paper for a little bit, the paper was 100% cotton paper. Now, I don't really use 100% cotton paper very often. Yes, I know I use watercolour, and the fact that I don't use it is kind of blasphemy a little bit, but 100% cotton paper is expensive. And I do watercolour pieces all the time. If I was to use 100% cotton paper on every single piece I did in watercolour, that would be so uneconomical and so unpractical. And I also just like to use what I'm used to, which is either Daler Rowney or Arteza watercolour papers. The highlights on this piece was done with a fine-tipped Posca pen. I actually received it in a previous Scrawlrbox, and I loved it so much that I actually brought more of them. Because it was Ladybug, I had to do highlights because that suit needed highlights. And I felt like the highlights actually just made the piece pop a lot more. But as we are coming to the end of this video, I just want to say that I am still doing Inktober, even though I am running behind a bit. I'd really like to stream catch up with Inktober, so hopefully very soon I will be streaming. But if you would like to follow my Inktober journey, I will leave a link to my Instagram down below in the description, and my username is on screen now. And with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, you can like and subscribe if you haven't already with those post notifications on for notifications for every time I upload or live stream when YouTube wants to work. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!